Another part of the problem is that a lot of times the reason we're not inspired or the reason we're not into it may be because some of the situation that's going on is maybe due to our own mess ups, our own failures. I'm not having a very good spiritual day. So now what? Now I should show up for the next thing? So I want to tell you, this is unbelievable. Rabbi said it in the name of Rabbi Eli Lapian. I did not check it up, but I'm assuming that's accurate. Either way, it's an incredible thought. This past week, Parsha, we had the Saita. Okay, the Saita, in brief, is a woman who is getting too close to a fellow who is not her husband. And the husband warns her and says, you got to stop that. You can't be with him. You can't be alone with him. Okay, so the husband is literally just asking her to behave in an appropriate manner for a married woman and not be secluded alone with somebody that the husband is suspicious that something is going on here that is not kosher. Okay, obviously this marriage is struggling. That's not a question. This woman was warned, and nonetheless she goes and she's secluded alone with this man of whom the husband is suspicious. That activates the Saita protocol. The Saita protocol means now this woman is taken and she is tested by drinking a very specific water to see, was she actually together with that man? Obviously we know they were alone and secluded, but did she actually do any sin being together with this person in an intimate way? That we don't know. We just know that they were secluded together, but we don't know what happened. So that's being tested by this water. And the Gemara tells us that there is a bracha. If the woman is found guilty, then the water kills her. If, however, she is innocent, she gets blessed. She gets blessed. It's a debate exactly what the blessing is. Maybe she'll have children. Maybe she'll have wonderful children. She will be blessed. And everyone asks the same question. What? She gets a blessing? I mean, let's be real here. Innocent? How innocent are we talking? Innocent here just means she didn't go all the way to the nth degree of sin. But she's clearly a person who is in the midst of a relationship that she is not supposed to have. She is a person who is not acting modestly. She is a person who, despite being warned to not be left alone with this man, went and secluded herself purposefully with this man. There is definitely a lot of things going on here that are not proper. So I get it. She didn't do the ultimate sin in that. Okay, so she gets blessed? Hey, well, how about you bless me? I'm an innocent person. I didn't do any of that. Why would she get blessed? My friends, open your heart to what Rabbi Eli Lapian said. He said, you're right. She did so many things wrong in this story. She is struggling really badly. She is falling pretty low. And all of that may be her fault. But guess what? Despite the fact that she was in such a compromised position, despite the fact that she is struggling, she clearly is not being filled with clarity and inspiration, and not even despite that, but maybe exactly because of that. Can you imagine how hard it must have been for her to hold back and not do that final sin and not do the final Aveira? And even though all the circumstances which make that so challenging might even be her fault, but in the end of the day, that final challenge is a mighty challenge. And she passed, and she overcame, and she fought and held her ground. She stood her ground. She dug in her heels at the final mountain. She died on the final hilltop for Hashem. And Hashem sees that and values it and blesses her for that great achievement. That's just an incredible thought, because so many times the situation we're struggling with, we say, yeah, but it's me. I made that struggle. But to Hashem, He doesn't care. He understands the struggle, and obviously for everything we've done wrong, it's accountable. But the rules in spirituality is that good and bad don't cancel each other out. And that it doesn't all get washed together in one big story. Each moment is its own moment, and each choice is its own standalone choice. So, let's say you made 10 bad choices to end yourself where you are now. So all those bad choices, they're a problem. But right now, you have another choice. Will you allow those 10 bad choices to lead to an 11th? Or will you walk away? And we all know how hard that is to not let them lead to an 11th, because the momentum is down and you're feeling not proud, not powerful, not inspired. And in many ways, at that moment, 10 mistakes in, to dig in your heels for Hashem is one of the greatest achievements that can be done in this world. And even though we created the challenge ourselves, nonetheless, the victory of that challenge is for Hashem, and it is a mighty, glorious, glowing victory. And for that, she deserves to be blessed. Do you hear what I'm saying, my friends? This is so powerful to me. And I think that just because your past decisions led you to this challenge, that doesn't make them any less of a legitimate challenge. And it doesn't make the victory any less glorious. And in fact, most of the time, those moments are the hardest to overcome, and the hardest to, after spiraling downward, to catch yourself on a branch and say, no, Ad Kan, I go no lower. Hashem, I didn't forget about you entirely. There is a limit. I will stop myself. That is so powerful, so great. And in a certain ways, the greatness, like the tzaddikim say, that planting Hashem's flag there in that deep, dark place is something that, in a certain way, nobody else can do.